Okay, so I am live. Let's see, I gotta wait till. There we go. Man, so there's only a few of you guys here right now. Wait, can I hear? Come on. Okay, so the volume's working. That's me. It is pouring rain right now. I was just trying to do a short to show the lightning popping and kind of screwed it up. So I guess I'm not.
So I'm getting
Okay, that was.
ready to go on YouTube.
Stop.
For just a minute.
Stop. Okay. God damn, is this thing gonna pop up all night long? Sorry, guys. We wait just a few minutes. It's Friday night. Friday's like a dead night to be on here, really. I think actually after like 11 on Friday or 10, 11, midnight or whatever is the time to actually do this. So I still don't know the passwords to iCloud and a couple things, and they keep popping up on the screen. That's why you keep seeing me do this. Let me just wait just a few minutes. If you guys got any comments, you guys can post. Come on, man, don't do this to me all night long. So I'm hoping that this Wi-Fi stays up. So where I'm at, so I just got alerted by SWEPCO, which is the electric company, that there's a power outage again down here. I got hit for a little while, but when there's storms like this, everything goes out. Electricity, Wi-Fi turns into a freaking nightmare. Although now I learned how to use my phone, and I've known that for a couple weeks actually. I could have done that last night, as a matter of fact. I said I was going to too. I think something about it. Okay. So anyway, who are you? Let's see. I got one comment right here before I get started. I got a lot to talk about. Oh, I see foosball already. I'm going to try to read off the screen so I don't keep doing my glasses for. At some point I will, because that's just what happens. Oh, it's good. What's up, Pawns? 2 prizes. What is foosball saying? Let's see. No telling. Frick. Been getting a lot of rain and storms in Texas also. Tornadoes big time in the Southwest. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting hit. Not right here. So where I live. Hey, what's up, Rob? So where I live, I'm in the middle of 2 mountains. Okay. So the last tornado that got hit down here, I think it was in the 1920s, about 100 years. Greenwood, which is like 20 miles northeast of me, they got wiped out, and I forgot what year that was. Like the whole town got wiped out. But where I'm at, the tornadoes, because of the mountains, if it gets in between, like we're screwed in this town, right? But the mountains kind of protect us, you know, the mountain ranges, the way that they work. So, yeah. But I like the storms. I do. I did that short earlier, 2 of them when the lightning was popping. I didn't get the best ones. Anyway. And this is going to keep happening again. So, Rob, what was the comment you said that YouTube cut you off of, by the way, Tammy Kennedy? What do I start? We'll start with the MS-13 stuff. Or do I go straight to the prisons? I guess I'll start with MS-13, actually. The only moving fly, me and these flies, every video, every live, there's this big ass slow fly that's going to die any second because it's so cold. And I do have the heat off in here too, by the way. And it'll probably end up landing on my drink or something here in just a second. Okay, so MS-13, let's do this real quick. We got 3 arrested today. I just watched Pam Bondi and company talk about MS-13. Most organized terrorist group that we have, she said. Bullshit. I do not believe that one bit. Again, I'm going to stick with this. The government always needs a boogeyman. Trump has been using, and I'm not anti-Trump by no means, and I do like a lot of the stuff he's doing. They always have to find this boogeyman. So I was watching how they viciously killed people. Oh, and I need to put this out right now. Man, they've done some crazy crimes. Yes, they've done some heinous crimes. MS-13 has done some bad stuff. I just watched a Dominican gang in New York a little while ago. Trianos or something like that. Dominican gang out of New York. They chased some dude in a liquor store, drug his ass out. This is in New York. Stabbed him to death, and then took off. So there are other gangs. Oh, I think they said they had a machete too. There are other gangs that use machetes too. Okay. Now, I go back to the fact that I knew one of the guys that was higher up in MS-13 who was a cellie of a good friend of mine. And we were talking about it not long ago. Do I think that illegals in this country that are part of MS-13 need to be deported? Yes. Do I care where they get deported? Actually, I care about the humanitarian part of it when it comes to this prison, but that they can be sent anywhere if you're here in the country illegally, then the deportation thing, I'm fine with it. However, there's a slippery slope, and I talked about this on one of my lives. What was it, a week or two ago, whatever it was, about the same MS-13. And if you look at what's the most ruthless gang in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, for example? MS-13? Not even close. Not even close. They got them all locked down. I guess my point is they're making more out of them than they are. I get that they designated them terrorist group for the removal purposes. Okay, great. If you want to do everybody that's a gang member that's here illegally, great. That they're this well-organized machine, I have serious problems with. I think there's gangs that are far more organized, and I know of them that are far more organized. Do they have reaches in other countries? There's street gangs that have reaches in other countries. They're bringing in drugs, Pam Bondi said, that are human trafficking. You know who's doing that too? A lot of white people on this side of the border that are working with cartels directly or indirectly. So it's just that whole putting them out there as the boogeyman over and over again that I really have an issue with. And I was laughing because they said they've been working on this for 10 years. They got some guys that did some foul stuff now, okay? Great. They all, if they're sentenced for what they're saying that they got caught with, whatever. If they want to do the death penalty on them, whatever. I don't believe in life without the possibility of parole for everybody. I don't. And I'm going to get into that too again. I just don't. But it's fugazi what they're doing as far as saying that MS-13 is the monsters they're portraying to be. And I just, it's just from looking at it, I guess from knowing so many people in gangs and stuff like that, it's just kind of comical to me. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if comical is even the right word. It's just kind of ridiculous is what it all comes down to. Okay, I see Joey, I see your name. What's up, bro? How you doing? I'm doing good. Let's see. Sorry about last night. The Wi-Fi was spotting down. I could have done it on my phone. I didn't even think about that last night too. I thought about it in the daytime. Trinitarios. Yeah, thank you, Joey. Thank you. So, I mean, they did some crazy shit, right? So it's just the boogeyman effect. I think that's the bottom line. Now, let's get into the prisons. Do you guys know what Halden Prison is? Where it's at? Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani may end up in El Salvador prison, Spirit of New Orleans. I doubt it. I doubt it. Just like I don't think Netanyahu will end up getting punished by the Hague. They're gonna have a warrant out for his arrest still. But let's get into this. Okay, so you've got CECOT, maximum security down in El Salvador. So right now, they're saying that's the worst prison in the world. Okay, so I went and I've watched some stuff about it. how they're housing those dudes is brutal. Now, I will say, I have to say this first, and somebody brought it up in one of my last lives, and this is the truth. That president, I forgot his name, that president went in there with the crackdown on MS-13. MS-13 was doing a lot of damage on the streets down there, okay? So this dude just rounds everybody up. And it's actually had a positive effect. From all indications, it's actually done some really good, okay? And they're saying that those MS-13 members that are being put in CECOT, I've read reports from the El Salvadorians that are saying that they're never going to get back out in society. That's not true. There'll be a liberal administration that'll come in one day. That'll all change. That's just how politics work. If they do a mass genocide and kill them in there first, maybe that's one other thing. Am I saying they should or shouldn't? I think that what they're doing to those dudes in that prison, and I'm not talking about the ones, I'm not talking only about Trump sending people over there. Again, I've got no problem with our government sending people that are not U.S. citizens to prisons anywhere. I don't have any problem with that. I just don't have, I guess because I don't have anybody that I know or I'm not vested in it or whatever the right word. I don't have any personal affiliation to that or people that are getting sent down there. Maybe that's one of the reasons. I do know people that are in this country illegally that I like a lot. And I'd worry that that somebody's going to get randomly pulled over. And, I do. Really good people. I remember being at a house one time in Fort Smith with all Hispanics. And they were trying to start like a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce kind of type of thing. And they were talking about the difference of coming here. Some of them came here as kids, and it was moving, Now, getting back to CECOT, we do this foosball. They got those guys, what is like 70 to a cage, right? To a cell. They make them stay on their bunks. They don't have visits. They don't get mail. They don't have there's nothing. They have no writing materials. They exist on these bunks without mattresses, with just a sheet. That is nuts. I don't care what people do and how bad they do it. The punishment is being incarcerated, okay? And that'll get into this prison in Norway. The punishment is incarceration. The punishment shouldn't be the conditions of the incarceration, okay? We have some evidence coming out of Norway with Halden Prison, okay? Okay, foosball. What most Americans don't understand is why the Democrats are defending illegals more than any American citizens. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a winning issue. However, real quick foosball on this note, it's all about the economy, stupid, and I'm not calling you stupid. It's all about the economy, stupid. That is the best political saying of all times. So, for example, if what Trump's doing right now with these tariffs, if that screws up and people start feeling it, they're not going to care about voting for Democrats who want illegal aliens in this country. People care about their pocketbook. So I get what you're saying. And it's crazy when they go up there and they're defending and they're coming up with a guy who's got his wife on the legacy media channels. This guy's a great guy. There's a lot of great gang members. I know a lot of them, was in the country illegally. Under the removal that they have, I don't have a problem with them removing them. The problem I have is not where they go. It's with CECOT, which it's not going to matter what I think because it's a different country too, right? But at the end of the day, the advances in humanity and as a human to put people in those kind of conditions, and I know what people will say. Look at the heinous crimes that they do. They don't deserve this or that. The punishment is the incarceration. If you want to give people the death penalty, do it. If you want to give people the death penalty for using drugs, do it. That's more humane than locking somebody up on a freaking bed and making them sit there indefinitely. Because that's what the president's basically saying, right? They're just going to keep them all in there. They did the shooting the drug dealers over in the Philippines, I guess. That really didn't work out good. But we don't have an appetite for that in this country. That's never going to happen. Now, getting over to the prison in Norway, it's in Holland. Halden, I guess that's what I put up on the title. So I don't know if you guys know anything about that prison. What's up, Alfie? So here's what's up with that prison. It's a maximum security prison. And hold on, let's do this the right way. Let's get this. I got this right here. Getting weather notifications like crazy. Come on. Let's have this. I was looking at it. Shoot. Why not CECOT? No, Halden Prison. Okay. So it has 3 main units and has no conventional security devices, no bars on windows, nothing like that. The 3rd largest prison in Norway. It was established in 2010 with a focus on rehabilitation. Its design simulates life outside of prison. Among other activities, sports and music are available in prison. Not only they have a studio to make albums, and they have a radio station that it's not full time. They come in and the prisoners get to talk about their points of views and stuff like that, which I think is fantastic. If you guys have seen any of my writings going back to 2010 and 11, I did an article called "Welcome to My World: Look Inside Federal Prison" or something like that. But I talked about all these things that's in this prison I actually talked about before. Okay, so among the activities, sports and music are available to prisoners who interact with the unarmed staff to create sense of community. Praised for its humane condition, Halden Prison has received some award, it doesn't matter, but also received criticism for being too liberal. Okay, so this is what I wanted. Where was it at? Prison life. Each prison cell is 10 square meters, 110 square feet, and it has a flat screen television, desk, mini refrigerator, except for minibar, toilet with the shower, and unbarred vertical windows that lets in more light. Every 10 to 12 cells share a common area with a kitchen and a living room. The kitchen has stainless steel silverware, porcelain plates, and a dining table, and the living room has a modular couch and video game system. While the prison provides food, the prisoners can also buy ingredients at a grocery shop, and it's a grocery store, okay, and cook their own meals. Inmates are locked in their cells 12 hours a day, but they are encouraged to maximize their time outside. Prisoners have an incentive of $9, so $9 a day to leave their cells. So they get paid $9 a day to get out of their cell. Ari Halden, the prisoner's governor, stated that fewer activities the prisoners have, the more aggressive they become, which is a great point for the USPs in the federal system. This is Activities House, and from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., there are practices on jogging trails and football field, while woodworking, cooking, and music classes are also offered. At the mixing studio, the inmates may record music and have a monthly program broadcasted by the local radio station. A library with books, magazines, CDs, DVDs. A gym with a rock climbing wall and a chapel are also available. Prisoners even receive questionnaires asking how their prison experience can be improved, and they pay attention to it. Inmates are allowed to receive their families, partners, or friends privately twice a week. They get conjugal visits, doesn't have to be a wife, twice a week. Nobody's there, private rooms, so they could pass drugs, messages, and all that stuff. That's absolutely true. For those with families, a larger room with toys and baby changing facilities is available. Inmates are checked after visits, and if any illegal items are found, prisoners can lose their rights to private visits. The right is denied to high-risk criminals and visitors with histories of drug offenses. Oh, that's a new one. The right is denied to high-risk criminals and visitors. Oh, visitors with drug offenses. Okay. There's also a separated house where prisoners can receive visits from family members and stay with them for 24 hours. Oh, kind of like Chino back in the day, but it was 72. The house has a small kitchen, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom, a living room with a dining table, and a sofa and a television, as well as an outdoor play area with toys. Foreigners are not allowed in, and inmates have to complete a child development education program to have 24-hour-long visits. During visits, staff make regular checks on the prisoners and their family. Okay? So, check this out. So, people, maybe one of my friends here, Cameron Kennedy, would like think of this, like just get pissed off about it. Okay, I was reading this. I was reading this real quick. I believe private prisons are going to go international, where a U.S. prisoner might end up in a Egyptian private prison. Huh? You know what? And I can see something like that. And again, when it comes to private prisons, they're doing it better. So Simran Korcivic, when I was there, was doing a good job. Okay, it's boring. There's only an hour out, but in general, their food, medical, we can get into all that. You have to be proactive anywhere you go for medical. That's just how it is. But the food, the conditions, when you go to the whole PlayStations, but that's activities. The thing when it so I can see what you're saying, and the private prisons, you're right. Something I have a friend that believed that we should do private prisons, and the incentive should be that they get more money based on the recidivism rates. He broke that down to me a while ago. Okay, not sure that's realistic, but what's up, Doug? I'm going to read that in a minute. So going back to Halden, their recidivism rate is 25%. Back in the 70s and 80s, up until the 90s, it was 70%, which is equal with Europe and the United States. Europe, United States, and I guess Australia. By the way, Australia, shout out Australia. Let me tell you, I've been watching Australian 60 Minutes like crazy. I didn't realize people in Australia were as fucked up as people in the United States. I did not realize that. You guys are whack jobs down there too. A lot of crazy murdering killers, and man, Australians. I've had people tell me, Brad came on the show, but to watch it now and watch the documentaries and watch other, because I don't know Four Corners. I like the Australian stuff. And what was that girl from Charlotte from was it from Holland? She met up with this big drug lord down there. I was watching that documentary about that girl. And then she was trying to have people killed for old men. It's straight. She's some little 19-year-old model. She was hot as hell. Hooked up with this dude like 40 years old. He's a big player down there. But yeah, and then they got some crime lord's daughter that's all over social media, kind of like the Gotti family. The equivalent of the Gotti daughters is over there. And I was tripping on Australia here in the last 3 or 4 days. Doug Ross, by the way, PayPal's still screwed up. PayPal's still screwed up. I'm having a problem with the PayPal, and I've tried. I'm getting to it. I have to wait for some damn link. Rob, in the fruit belt of Ontario and British Columbia, I've met a lot of Mexicano here picking fruit, working the land, helping do whatever. Great guys. They're okay, but some family members are scared. I grew up around Mexicans. My dad was a labor's union leader in a predominantly Mexican hall. So, and really, where I grew up in San Pedro, California, and I grew up at the bottom, lower. So the area that I grew up was actually lower middle class when I was being raised. And it was, a lot of Mexicans. Not other Hispanics. It was Mexicans, And so I've been around Mexicans my whole life. Really good people. And I've said, I know cartel guys that you would just you think the world of. They have a different value system. Actually, when it comes to family, a lot of you can say that they're a lot like the Italians and the Irish were, and African American families. I'm not going to forget that, because that got busted up in the 60s. A lot of that stuff for multiple reasons. We don't want to go into that right now. Talking about the family unit. But as far as being scared, Doug, it's hard to get past you're in the country of illegal. Now, you're saying on the screen right now that's a form of torture. You're talking about CECOT. That is so effing cruel, to make people sit on their concrete slabs all day long. I would bet that okay. It's like let's talk about the mafia, and let's talk about biker gangs, and let's talk about prison gangs. Only a handful kill. Only a handful put in work like that. People, think everybody had to put in work and this and that. That's not true in a lot of places. Now, I'm not saying I don't know the MS-13 guys down there. I do know they were talking about, some of the crimes are committed heinous because they want other gang members to respect. That's why they go and do more brutal crimes. Okay. Again, I think dead is dead. Now, if you're torturing a person before they die, that's a whole different ball game. I'm getting off point here. But that prison, that CECOT, that is going to crumble one day. And they're nice 5-star, right? Oh, Doug, yeah. The 5-star, the prisons. So but CECOT, it's going to crumble under a liberal administration. Those dudes are going to go off one day. Right on, Vincent. I'm doing my best. My best is working. But I would like to see, so they're saying they're not letting people out of that prison, but I would like to see the recidivism rate of people coming out of something like that compared to somebody coming out of Halden. Might I add, there's a documentary, you guys can look it up. I think it's, what did I put in the title? I forgot. Halden Prison, it's in the description. Somebody here. I just heard, okay, so I don't get company, but I hear kids talking. Maybe it's somebody walking, but it's raining. So I don't know what the deal is there. Anyway, we'll see if somebody knocks on my door here in a minute. They had a lady, damn, I forgot her name. And she was a big wig, like the third up in England, in the prison ministry stuff, right? Hardliner. She walked into Halden and she was flipping out. She was flipping out. They didn't have bars. But at the end of it, at the end of the documentary, she said, I would rather have, I'm paraphrasing, I would rather my neighbors have come from here than come out of the English prison system. The maximum securities that I have known, she'd known all the prisons over in England. So what does that say? Now, here's what's happening though. People over there in Holland or Norway, whatever, they're saying that prison was built too expensive. I forgot the cost of it. But they have real programs. Dental Lab used to be at USP Lewis, was an actual program. You can get out and make a living doing teeth. In this chat right now would tell you that. That was a great program. What is going on? I got people yelling outside of my house. That's really, really strange. Wow, I'm sorry. Okay. One of them sounded like one of my sisters for a second. He may already have been arrested. Oh, shoot. Oh, your friend. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys don't understand. So there's not like noise. You don't hear, I've got neighbors, right? But you don't hear people like that. And I hear kids walking, like little ones, and somebody yelling at them. So it's kind of, anyway, I'm not going to get up, whatever. This is way too much contact with the outside world. That's a recipe for running criminal empires from behind bars. Okay, so I expected something like that from you, Rob. So, way too much contact with the outside world. Again, the recidivism rate shows something different. And then I have said before that something like that can't work in the United States because of our cultural problem, okay? They had, I wouldn't say because of race issues and illegal immigration back in the 70s or 80s. I can't say that hell, Norway has all kinds of different. There are a bunch of different races in that prison. They have 5, I think they have to call a sort team 5 to 10 times a year, they said. They have to suit up and go like somebody's disgruntled, throwing a fit. They also get passes in society for 7 to 8 hours at a time, a few times a week, as they're getting closer to the gate. It's all, the whole premise of that prison is rehabilitation. It's 100% geared on rehabilitation. Plus, they don't have life without parole over there. They don't have that. Again, I'm going to state that I believe there's some people that don't ever need to be let out, but I don't believe in a prison sentence called life without parole because I had it and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Because people change. Too many things change. Victims' families change. I see a bunch of different stuff Anyway, ex-Philippine president is going to prison. Is he? Is that true? Spirit of New Orleans? They got better gym and shit than we have in the city I live in. So Doug, you're making a point. At that prison, they have a dental department. They have stuff that's better than people have in some of their houses. There's truth to that. Again, they're still in prison. I don't care how good you have it in prison. You're still incarcerated. And I think that people need to be treated not as monsters after they get locked up. We still have that appetite. We still have the bread and water crowd that wants everybody to suffer in prison. And it's just not right. And I'm not some liberal left-winger by no means. When it comes to prison, my point is this, and this is pissing me off because this keeps popping up. My point is this. Look at our recidivism rate. Look at me. Look at how many people go back. There's success stories, but 70%. I'm going by old stats. That can be between 60 and whatever. But too many people, it's not working. What we're doing is not working. The over-incarceration and the number, it's not working. So it's what do they say? Insanity is if you keep repeating the same thing over and over again. We're freaking insane. Our government's insane. Our people are insane for voting people that want this kind of stuff. But I got to admit, look at California. They let out all these gangbangers out, and I have friends that were in Pelican Bay. They let dudes out of Pelican Bay because the law required, because the courts required, and now the California prison system's blowing up. Well, that's half the fault of the people. They should have thought about stuff like that before they did it. But I'm also in favor of special housing unit for certain offenders. Okay, I am. So it's a difficult one. It's really hard. What's not hard is it's fucking CECOT. Is idle mind's devil playground. But hey, Doug, imagine your idle mind when you have to sit on a bunk. I'm sure they get the shit beat out of them if they don't, right? I mean, I'm sure they do. It was something interesting in that documentary I watched. The prison guard said that we used to come in and treat them as animals. When we started treating them better, the recidivism rate dropped. If anyone thinks these prisons don't have cartel working inside out, you're crazy. They will know who is who upon arrival, whether by inmates or guard. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm just waiting for now. I've been watching a lot of Aussie shit for years. I watch a lot of the one cop has a channel grid Sparta. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's because like I said, I did know that girl in Australia. We were pen pals from 2009 till she died in 15 or 16, Sharna Pipness. And so that sparked my interest about Australia. Before that, I grew up a surfer. So one of the places we always want to go is surfing. We want to go to Hawaii. I never really wanted to care about Hawaii. I had too many friends that went there. I wanted to go to Indonesia and Australia. And cocaine and incarceration stopped that. Cocaine, I stopped surfing, Dom patrol, getting up early, surfing later. Then I got in a surfing accident on a little ass wave with the longboard, and it busted my face, broke my whole face. I was squirting out of my eye, busted my sinus cavity, and I was snorted coke that night. Didn't care. It was just a bad scene. And then after that, the surfboard, I fell off. It was only waist high, and I was showing off for this little kid. I was teaching this little kid how to do we call them groms or chippers, little surf grommets or surf chippers, little kids. He was like 10 years old, but he was a little scared to take off, and I was kind of helping him. And I was surfing a longboard and I was trying to do my thing and ate shit. My wife and her best friend were on the beach and my daughter's little friend, she was 2 years old. And that board screwed me up. And every time I surfed after that, when I would punch under a wave, I felt like a board was going to hit me. Every time I went underwater, and it spooked me. And when you fear something and you give into that fear, it screws you up. It screwed me up mentally. So I wasn't able to surf like that anymore. That's the truth. I don't know why I got off on the surf tangent. Oh, because of Australia. But yeah, so Indonesia and Australia is the places that I wanted to go. And down in South America. I used to go to Mexico all the time. Okay. I was in private county jail in 97 and it was horrible. Even the marshals apologized to us for having to put us through a week. Did you go to which one? Did you go to Core Civic in Ohio? Core Civic in Ohio is off the chain. They don't give you a cell. You got to find a cell when you go in there. So I knew a lot of guys coming from Core Civic Ohio going to Core Civic Cimarron. Night and day. Although the staff corruption was unmatched for any prison I've ever been in. 40% of the staff were hot. I mean, were corruptible, I should say, whatever. Bringing in contraband. And that could be just food. A lot of them had food hustles. So guys bought food. Subway sandwich, hot roast beef and cheese. I didn't do that. Anyway. So I bet you that was, I had a good experience with those dudes from Costa Rica. Yeah, Costa Ricans. I can't really say I've been around too many Costa Ricans. My aunt retired as a postal lady that delivered mail by foot and signal. Joey, wait. Signal Hill, like California? I mean, in Pedro? Wow, that just threw me off. I was thinking, yeah, Pedro. Retired postal lady. Did she testify against me? What's up, Philip? Did she testify against me? You know, my trial. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the whole thing with trial transcripts and everything. It was postal service, you know? Why, I didn't know. I had no idea. Did you know Weasel from Lomita was AB? He had a big shootout in Lomita. Alfie, I know of the case. I did not know him. Yeah, so I actually lived in Lomita too. I lived in Lomita, and you know what? I don't know who this dude was, but for sure he was an AB. And this is before I went to prison. I'd already been to the LA County system. This dude came out, and he just came out. You can tell he's been in prison his whole life. He was like, closer to 50. But that happened, I think. I forgot what years that happened. I lived there in Lomita. Well, shit, I lived two different places. I lived in Lomita from 19. When did we move? From 89 to 90, I think, or what? No, from 80. Yeah, from 89 to 91. So it was 2 years in Lomita. I live right on top of the sheriff's station. If you know anything about Lomita Sheriff's Station, right next door, first apartment, the first one on the corner with the big windows. So if anybody knows that's from Lomita, they know what I'm talking about. I moved there on the run from a 4-year sentence because I figured that I can watch the cops. It worked swimmingly. It was great. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Lomita was cool. Not to do with crime at all. Few of them have been told you're going to do this and that. I bring shit across the lines. There are people are getting scared at home, get killed. I'm trying to help. Okay, wait a minute, Doug. Okay, you're saying people have done nothing with crime and they're forced to do stuff for some of the cartels. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so there's people that get forced to bring stuff across the border. I'm sure it's probably going to get worse too. What's up, Anthony? All right, bro. I appreciate you. I told you guys the cartels are going to have problems. It's they got problems right now, and I'm telling you guys that are on drugs, batten down the hatches, batten down the hatches. Oh, get the whole family over to Canada. I see. So they're running. So Rob, super, can you have a shotgun? I can't have. Okay, so no, under federal law. So look, no. Okay, no, I can't have a gun. Oh. It carries 0 to 10 years in the feds if I got caught with felon in possession of a firearm. If somebody used to do that. Spirit of New Orleans. I was doing that at 9:00. I wonder if I got shit. The drama outside. He's saying I still might have. I think I have 50 seconds of some stuff. Just the woman who hung herself wanting to move in with. Yeah. Okay. Stop. So foosball. He's referring. So I must have a lot of comments I'm missing. So he's referring to me stopping and listening to people talk. Now, I was thinking as I was saying it, my neighbor across the way, I do hear her yelling at her dog. She's got 5 boxers. But I heard kids talking. It's somebody walking in the street. There are kids. There's all kinds of kids around here. But the thing is the storms, and and it sounded like somebody. I didn't hear a car, but it sounded like people after they get out of the car and they're walking towards the house. And I was trying to think who's coming to my house with kids right now, And there was one person that you guys would have heard me yell at the door if that would have happened. And I ain't gonna get into all that. I'm not gonna do all that. Just the woman hung herself. Doug, why not? Oh, so why can't you have a shotgun? Look, if I got caught with I know this happened to somebody, okay? 1 bullet, 30 years. 1 bullet, 30 years. There's a case called Rutledge versus the United States. It's a famous Supreme Court case. Tommy Rutledge was my cellie. Chopra, I think Chopra was the guy, one of his co-defendants who got hit in a big coke conspiracy. Chopra used to hang around with Tommy at a junkyard he owned in Peoria, Illinois, Tommy Rutledge. And they wanted Chopra to testify he was an old school. He wasn't going to do it. They hit him with a bullet in his pocket and gave him 30 years. He took it to trial, gave him 30 years for a bullet. So it's if they want you. You really have to look. The Trump administration doesn't look like they're going after firearms for people. They think it looks like they're going to be all right. There's some laws changing about felon in possession of the firearm because of the Constitution allows us to. We can get all off into that. And I think that felons, and I know that people will say, and my friend Robert is going to say, scumbags don't deserve guns, that they'll get out and kill people. You can't ask people, especially in crime-ridden areas, that because they have prior convictions not to have a gun if you're living in that kind of life. I'm not saying drug dealer life. There's people that cannot live, that cannot help where they live based on circumstances. And if it's a violent area and you can't have a gun, you're like a sitting duck, and it's that's why people are going to choose to get guns. Hello, Chicago, D.C., St. Louis, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Prison normally won't work in nations with multiculturalism. Spirit of New Orleans, okay. They've got a lot there though now. Let me tell you something about multiculturalism in Europe. I was once married to a Spaniard, and she showed me something not long ago, actually very recent, where in Barcelona, they're celebrating holidays. And there was a guy walking down the street with the phone. He said, "Hey, this is multiculturalism in Barcelona." Basically, that's what he said. Spaniard dude. And he showed it in the whole, as far as you can see, it was Muslim dudes dancing. And I think the way it was put to me, I think more kids that are into school right now are in full burqas in Spain. So my point with the multiculturalism, I think there's a lot of that happening. And the guys that were in prison in this documentary were all different backgrounds. But with the way our gangs are set up and the crime, I don't know how it would work. You'd have to do, prisons that people aspire to go to for good conduct or something. You'd have to do something. There'd have to be some kind of changes. But my point is this: what we are doing as a society right now with our incarcerated individuals is not working. They come home, they go to houses, they're your neighbors. Hell, sometimes they get high on meth, and at 3:30 in the morning, when it's snowing, they have work boots on and shorts and chainsaws in their hands and wake up the whole neighborhood. I did that with cops driving by and me waving with chainsaw man. So you want good neighbors, not spun out creatures. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's not funny. My neighbors still don't talk to me over that shit. She used to bring me vegetables. I used to get vegetables from her garden. Not even when she sees me, she turns her head. Life without is getting harder on thing. Life without is getting harder. Okay, wait, what do you mean, Doug? I gotta find this password. Okay, Philippine ex-president's being arrested. I did the dental program at Lewisburg, got the job as a dental within 15 days of getting out. Did it for 15 years till the kid was born. Spirit Robert Wasso is being bothered with pop-up ads. No, I'm getting bothered with iCloud and Microsoft telling me to use my password to sign in. Okay? It just keeps popping up. So they want me, and I don't know where that password is. Lots of us don't get caught again is my story, but now I'm out of it all. Yeah, right on. There you go. Who gave you the biggest beat down and why? Oh, okay. That's really good. Great question. Great question. Rodney Gist, Eddie Lee, 3 others, 3 blacks, 2 whites, 5 people. Why? Happened in the Sebastian County Jail, 1997. It all started with me not getting a marital visit from the second person that I married. Her name was Barbara. We used to get marital visits every Tuesday, twice a week. And they would bring me to where the regular prisoners go. They bring her where we were behind the glass, okay? I didn't get it. I quirked out, got into it with the guard. I did a video by the way. His name was Dags. And 25 years later, we run into each other, and he's in my side-by-side, and I realize who this dude is, okay? So me and this guard have words. I tell the guard, go get Fuller. Fuller was the sergeant. I knew him from years ago. Go get Fuller. I want to see Fuller. So the dude comes back, does a copies Fuller's picture. This is the sergeant of the jail. Copies his photo, slams it in the glass of my cell, and shuts the hatch. And it says, see Fuller. Like, I wanted to see Fuller, so he put that on. Well, when that guard, Dags, did the next round, we had a big gap under the door. I was in the corner cell. I can reach under. I put a bed sheet, and I looped his ankle with a bed sheet, and I snatched his leg under the door, and I tried to break it. Okay? He was screaming and everything, and they finally opened the door. Well, they drugged me out, tore apart my cell, brought me up front. I saw the dude Fuller, the cop. By the way, let me back up. When they tore apart my cell, they were going to move me out of that pod. There was a black dude next door. I forgot his name, and he had a Bible of mine, a pocket Bible that the girl I married gave to me. I don't even know why. In that, he said something really lippy to me, and I called him an N-word. Okay? Now, this is what happened. Rodney Gist and Eddie Lee were kids. Rodney was up for a murder charge. I forgot little Eddie. I knew his brother Robert, okay? They put me in the hole. The cops put me in the hole. They brought me up front. I got to go back. They brought me up front. When they were bringing me to a different pod, they waited till I was on camera, and Dags, when I snatched his leg, said something to me, and I turned around and popped him. He hit me, I've never had a karate moment where the martial arts I learned as a child, I finished like purple belt, okay? it all came back, and I was like, I got 5 cops. I got 5 cops. Okay, I'm not a good fighter. I got 5 cops I wrecked. I didn't wreck them. They had to. So what they did was Fuller came, said stop. I put my hand up against the wall, and then Dags maced me in the face. This is all part of the story. You're asking me the beatdown. Well, they put me in BC cell with the dude named Jerome Wilkins, who was a dirty cop. He was black. And he said something to me, and I was actually doing some dirt. This dude was doing, we were doing dirt together. He's bringing shit in, okay? And I popped off and called him an N-word too, because he was black. So this is me with my mouth. But what they did, the cops did was, they went to these 2 dudes and they gave them Kentucky Fried Chicken to assault me. I actually filed a lawsuit on this case. I lost because there was a cop who's now a high-ranking official in the jail, and I'm not going to say his name, gave me the information to say that I was being set up. Kentucky Fried receipt. I mean, I had it all down, but they paid these dudes to fuck me up. But they also, a couple of them were black, and they heard me say the N-word a couple times. Even though back in the day, this is the truth. Back in the day, if I said something to a black guy and I called him an N-word, or if I was talking to a white guy, the other blacks, they didn't get involved in that. They really didn't. So it wasn't like you would think, okay? Back then, at that time, it wasn't. So, and that's just me. That's just me out of my mind, just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. And so when I came to, I got put in the hole indefinitely, okay? So as long as I was in the Sebastian County Jail fighting my case, they ordered me to be put in the shoe because I fought 5 cops. Well, I beat them, not once, but twice in the little kangaroo court disciplinary process. They had to release me. The first sign something was wrong was they released me on a Sunday. They never do that. And there was a special group of cops there that were all part of having me fucked off for what I did with these dudes. That's what it came down to. So I don't know how many of them were really a part of it, but it was cops, paid inmates to fuck me up. And so I go in the cell. They put me in with the guy, and the guy says, oh, by the way, I got a rape case, but I didn't do it. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. Put my stuff down. I had a lot of commissary, probably like $300 worth I got from the day before. And here comes Rodney Gist, and we knew each other. And he said, hey, what's up, Rob? He put his hand out, and little Eddie was behind him, and little Eddie had something in his hand. And boom, he blasted me. Rodney hit me, knocked me out 3 times. Rodney knocked me out. I shit myself. Rodney shit himself. After I got up, I hit him in the stomach. He shit. We were sliding in shit, both of us. My face, they re-broke my injured face. My head swelled up like this, and they brought me to the hospital. Rodney broke his hand. Eddie broke there was a rib crack. I was survival mode. You know what I mean? And after that fight, that fight changed me. That jumping changed me. I never feared going into a fight with anybody after that, or walking a compound, or you know what I mean? I lost it because I was so, if I got through that, that's what happened. But that's 100. That's what happened, bro. Okay, so what's suicide? Oh shit. What's suicide rate in that joint, Rob? Because I'll tell you, I don't know if I could sit all day. So we don't know that yet. But the suicide rate in that other prison, in 10 years, there was like 3 or 4 people, I think they said. Spirit annoying surfing accident. Yep. I'm not for bread and water treatment, but if you have the ability to order murders from behind bars, we fail protecting society by locking them up. And I get that. And it's true. And look, full disclosure. They gave me life without parole for selling drugs. At the time, the amount of drugs that I moved for this area was a big deal. It's different now. Now it's saturated, okay? But back then it was kind of a big deal. Even though very, very little of the drugs got in this area, it still did. But after I got life, I went to prison and started the same kind of conspiracy they had me in for. Now, I also had life without parole, nothing to lose, So if I had a more reasonable sentence, if I had a different, like, we're going to send you to prison where you can do this, this, or this, I believe that they should have a music studio in prison, and I believe that a lot of people should go in there and make music, and I think a lot of people would be successful. I believe that they should let people run businesses under a structure. There should be a department for businesses because guys in prison come up with awesome ideas. They should have people help. They should let them run them, and they should maybe even get a chunk of money if they're making it. There's more we can do with prisons. And I'm not trying to say they should be colleges for the poor and criminally oriented. But what we're doing now don't work. It doesn't work. It just doesn't. It makes people feel good. Lock that son of a bitch up. We got all these drugs in this county, and drugs do pollute. Man, I can tell you. Carmel by the Sea is the best surf. Carmel by the Sea in California. Is that what you're talking about, Carmel? So I lived in Cayucas. If you're from California and you know what I'm talking about, and that's what you're saying, I lived in Cayucas, which was Morro Bay. Got to be some guards being paid off from outside, you would think, and get some better treatments. Yeah. Okay, Dylan Thomas. The president of Honduras was part of a drug trafficking ring during his tenure. Forget the time period right now. He got arrested recently. Oh, yeah, that's right. Manchester. Oh, mostly immigration holds. Oh, you were in Manchester. Okay. I got you. That's going back a minute. Dylan, would I be a CO now? I think that I would tell people. I think I told my daughter or my daughter's husband at the time that was a job he should look into. So, but would I? No. Nice. Thanks to them guards for making life better as lockup. Rob, if you ever go to Hot Springs, try DeLuca's Pizza. Dudes from New York making amazing pizza. Hey, Rod on G, man, I would love to go. I love Hot Springs. I do. I haven't been down there. It's been, well, I'll tell you exactly when. It was October the 13th, 14th of 21. Yes, we're getting bad weather. You got snow again 2 nights ago. You know you need home protection. What about if your old lady or kid and they are 100%? My PO told me I can have a gun if my wife. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So that's what, okay. Felons are free citizens too. My girlfriend has a safe full of guns. I just don't have the key. That's what my PO told me to do. That's what he told me and Marta to do. Because he knows I have things here in my backyard that can eat me. That's not a joke. So I mean, there's the foot of the mountain is my neighbor's. If you see the hill in those videos I do, that is the last. They own all the property behind that, and that goes straight behind the mountain. So there hasn't been in a few weeks, but there was hogs. I mean, those hogs don't play when they get in packs like that, you know. Snakes been really good. My neighbor, I was at somebody's house last week, and they found a copperhead. I haven't seen any snakes down here, which is, back when I was a kid and came back, they're all everywhere. On the other mountain, there's quite a few when I go out at night on the roads. Okay, let's see. Look at the yard, you'll kind of know. Okay, wait. You can have an air shotgun and some of those and fully automatic and shoot up. Oh yeah, or I guess the pellet guns are like all night activities. The pellet guns are supposed to be amazing too. It's better than most firearms. Spray, you know it, man. Non-lethal weapons, they're just wild. They're badass. I want some of them weapons, bro. They cost more than the shotgun. Really. Stupid thing. I won't be surprised if they regulate them in the future. The AE Harpoon is a legit sawed-off double barrel. You bet. I wonder if you have any before the law changes. If you would be grandfathered and licensed, whatever. That's a good one. 12 gauge. Oh, shit. Nice, brother. Okay, just to get back to the point, some radical Democrats are literally wanting all illegals to return to the U.S. regardless of their crimes and crossing illegal. Let them sort. Okay, you're absolutely right, and I see that, and it does sound crazy for people to be advocating for non-U.S. citizens. Maybe they're looking at the long view that these people are going to be citizen someday and they'll be able to vote, but that's not working out for the Democrats too well. When people get citizenship, they become Republicans. I mean, a lot of Hispanics, because they're so family oriented and they don't want girls and boys and bathrooms together and stuff like that. That's where the Democrats went. They have gone so far. And I know it was killing my dad before he died. Ho. I got to see this. Bro, did you know Sean Atwood is back in prison for fraud? Chris, are you sure? That's why my friends call him. That's why I was getting my phone blowed up. You just made me realize something. Okay. Atwood has a chomo look. He has a crate. Rob, you should look into and make a video on Big U from Rolling 6. He got arrested on RICO charges. He was the LA bully. So A-Rod, I talked to one of his good friends. So I don't want to do video. Respect Rolling 60s, okay? I'm pro Rolling 60, bro. I don't know him. But I know of one of the former leaders. Oh, you got bought. Wait, Rob, me too. Hogs, the bears. Wait, lions. Oh, mountain lions. You got to be mountain lions. Okay. Cubans place 1 foot on U.S. soil and they're instantly Republican. That was great. That was good. I got to find this number. I've got to find these passwords. It's going to drive me crazy. Wait, Doug Ross. What are you saying, Doug? It's not. Hey, anybody that has not watched Rob's channel from the beginning, it's killer. Okay, you need to do this. Watch everyone leading to now. Okay, it should be like a movie somehow. Thank you. You can see some bad stuff about me too. If you're new to this channel, I was fucked up. I can't believe some of this shit. Anyway. OG Badger is back in prison for the third time. He has a solid positive prison stories channel. Too bad he's back in. OG Badger, huh? Hold on. Shit. Badger. I gotta look that. And somebody said something earlier. I wrote that dude's thing down. That's prison channels I haven't heard. You need to finish this that you started with Benny Giratano. So let me tell you, this is what's happened with Benny Giratano. He called me relentlessly, and I could not set up because of credit card reasons and because of and debit cards and no money. No, just because of my financial situation. I could not even put $20 on a thing to set up. That's the truth. I'm getting by. I'm not crying. Okay. I've been able to squeak, push back, hold back. Everything's okay. But I was never able to. Well, my phone is set up where if anybody calls me, I rarely answer my phone. That's by choice. Okay. If people would have to text me first because I don't listen to it. So what happens is, and if you're not in my contact list, I don't see it sometimes. Well, I found out that he is now in jail somewhere calling me direct. And I tried to I figured out a way that I can put that number. So if he calls, I can get it. And I just figured that out like 3 days ago. And he's been doing that for about 2 weeks, I think. At some point. Yeah. And I do. So I do want to finish what he has to say. And he's all right. You're right. You're right. Wilbur is okay. Wilbur's inside. Wilbur got out. This is two dirty white boys. Randy dropped out. I don't know where he's at. He got out. robbed a bank real quick again and got another 25 right back to back. He stabbed somebody, Big Sandy, and got another year on before he got out. But he ended up with 25. Wilbur is back in and maybe due to be out soon for 4 cold pills for making meth. He's never seen like more than an 8-ball in his life. One of his co-defendants said Wilbur has like never had more than an 8-ball in his life, and they gave him 20 years on a career criminal for I think 4 packs of Sudafed or whatever. He had got 20 years for that. We did talk. I did a video about him. We talked. Baby mama or whatever, she was pissed off that I wouldn't take the video down. He didn't care. We talked. He just told me that that we, the dirty white boys, whatever, the brothers, were a dying breed, and how many people that were of the old ones, how many people dropped or dead. TC's dead, if you remember TC. You didn't know Kenny. Everybody. Maybe a couple that when I left that I don't remember. Not Big Jerry. Everybody dropped out or is dead. Dusty's successful. Kenny did the video about him recently. Shot it out with the cops. They killed him, a cop by suicide. That's what it really was. That's what happened to him. Moral of the story, don't join gangs, kids. Doesn't end up well. You'll end up in prison, dead, or hiding in protective custody, I guess. It was good, Rob. It was good, Rob. The show's live entertainment as fuck. So Doug's referring to me more often the mob genre, which I absolutely enjoyed. Did hurt my channel. Hurt my channel. Let me vent. Let me criticize others so I'd have to look inside myself and see the wrong that I was doing. That's really what it was. I hear you, Rob. I never answer myself. You got to ask from some people that are not nice. I just don't. And you know what? And if I go somewhere, I usually leave it at home. I do. I don't need it for directions and all that other crap. It's just a nuisance. And man, I can count on this channel right here. Shit, what's this? Speaking of text messages, I can count these apps right here. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 32. I bet out of 32, so like 70 something, okay? I would, no, there's more than that because I got them little. So let's just say 100 apps. I bet I have passwords to 25 of them. I bet still to this day. I just can't, I can't even deal with, Wilbur is not a criminal mastermind, but that's too much time. Wilbur is not a criminal mastermind, for sure. And what is this? Sorry. So, Wilbur Rigsby, dirty white boy extraordinary. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate you. I just saw this. Dirty white boy extraordinaire. 18 years old, from the hollers of Kentucky. He didn't speak English or hillbilly. He spoke hillbonics. That's what we said. Reckon fixing you. Yeah. I'm talking a mountain kid, okay? No bullshit. Got busted for 89,000 marijuana plants. Took the rap for the whole holler, okay? Is what he did at 18 years old. They were shooting at cops at helicopters in the air and stupid stuff. They were kids too. But they 89,000 plants. He got 20 years for that. Did day for day. I was in the cell when he left. And went home, worked at a car factory, was doing good for a minute, hooked up with like the prettiest girl in the county, allegedly had a baby by her, parents hated her, ultimately was living at the family property because all the family members died off except the brother, and I guess in the end there was like no running water and other stuff, but he was not like, he just got high on meth. As a matter of fact, the people, I talked to a couple of his co-defendants, they'd said like he'd run in sometimes saying, man, you got anything? I got to go. They're chasing me. He was, they said that there were, the rumors were that he was sleeping with dead bodies and all kinds. They really, Rob, they had him pegged for like, they had him on crazy status. He used to run around with like jack boots and what's those batons that and he used to hit people with it. So he was playing like prison gang member on the street, on meth. In the hills, hillbilly, dirty white boys, that everybody thought was like an AB or something. Yeah, but he's one of a kind. You can't meet too many people that don't, in the feds, that don't remember Wilbur. Oh shit, hold on. Oh shit, hold on, Dillis. Wait. It was a white guy in LA and did state time. Oh, okay. OG Badger. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Joey, it is. I've had this a long time, actually. I've actually had this since I got out in 21. Oh, you left on that morning. We were on lockdown the morning I left because of the Kinney stabbing. Tommy was the only one I got to say bye to. He was 3 cells down. Glad he's out. Okay. Wilbur called me a 3/5. First time anyone ever called me that. So this guy's got Native American blood in him. And I don't know why do you say 3/5? Why? But that's Wilbur. That's Wilbur. Yeah, man. Wilbur Rigsby. Jesus. Wow. I got a friend whose name is Eminem. I'm going to do something about him next week. I'm going to put a link to his GoFundMe page. They're trying to get $700. He's being released. Life without parole for drugs. Leader of a conspiracy that he wouldn't know how to lead a conspiracy. Okay, I'm not saying he's stupid. He was just an addict that didn't make much money, was homeless. They gave him a life sentence. So Biden just let him out, like 2,500 people. So he's getting out. I'm going to do something about him. But he knew Wilbur really good, and that's how me and him gelled at the hospital. Oh, the Dred Scott ruling. Oh shit, that's terrible. It's funny though. Yeah. Anyway, what else? Shit. I do plan on coming on tomorrow night because I've got. Okay, shit. Hold on. Dred Scott Roy. Yeah, little Kenny boy. And from what I understand, he fully deserved that. He kept playing that dude. I'm sure it was the same guy. It was Slim. I believe he was playing Slim because Slim from DC used to give us good credit. And boy, I mean, he almost got that when I was there. You know what I mean? But I knew when he first came in, he was part of that bunch from Lee County. Was he Lee County? Or did he come from Beaumont? I believe he came from Lee County. I'm almost positive. There was some dirty white boys that came out of Lee County that no-nose Rich patched up just on it. You're it. You guys want to be dirty white boys? You're it. And I remember little Mark, if you remember Mark, which I liked a lot. He came to Lewisburg and he's like, man, I really don't want to be down with this, And I said, dude, you're in now. You know what I mean? And because it was going to go badly for him. I was trying to be nice to him, but I think he ended up being one of the ones that didn't drop out. I don't know. I don't know where he was on that stabbing too. I don't know where, I don't know that. I know that, welcome home again. Truth hurts. Got some ideas about sponsorships you might be interested in. Okay. RJROSSO1969 So RJRosso1969 Somebody else is talking about some sponsors. So even let me be totally honest. Even the memberships, right? I put another level up, by the way. To be honest, right now, even though the channel's growing and I'm doing good, for considering all that this channel's been through and the ups and downs, it's doing really well. Okay, And I still don't think the memberships are justified. Like, I want to do member chats only or whatever. I don't have enough in the chat to really do that. I'm just full disclosure. You know what I mean? When I was off on that mob tangent with Doug Ross is talking about, there would be 150 to 300 people in the chat. And I held 300 people in the chat one night until 2 a.m. That was like, I remember people were calling me and saying, you know, these big channels, but it was all that fighting with everybody, you know? I remember the night, what chat it was from and who I was talking shit about. I remember. That was when I was doing the pinga pinga. I remember that one. I'm not going to get back into that. But yeah, but right now, and I'm not saying like I'm doing a live this day. Thursdays should be a day. Thursdays and Saturdays are actually good days for me to do live. Of course, when I get a life, how's that going to work out on Saturdays? I had a little bit of a life. I have a little bit. But anyway, Al Ross told me first day at Lewisburg, don't get involved with drugs, gambling, or sex, and you'll be okay. That's the common thing. Arkansas Department of Corrections, December 1993, Pine Bluff, catching the chain to go to Cummins. That's the big prison in Arkansas. We get all pulled in the room. All of a sudden, a staff member jumps up and says, "Gentlemen, attention. You're going to Grady, Arkansas. You're going to Cummins. There, you need to stay away from drugs, alcohol. Don't take nothing off your pillow. Or you can expect, if you do, that the possibility of being raped." Like he even said it work. Oh, who's this? Ronald RJ. Okay, Doug, stay good. You got to roll. Your show is doing 100% better than fighting with little mob. Thanks, foosball. I appreciate that. And A-Rod, NJ, thank you. Rob, is it true the further west you go in the feds, the worse it gets? Yes, it really was that. Thanks, Doug. Again, you gifted a membership to somebody. Thank you. Glad you're feeling better, man. Glad you're feeling better, man. Never had to leave the paradise you have there. So real quick on that. So A-Rod, thank you for the donation. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. So let me say this real quick. Doug, I want this to be in my home. I would rather probably be even deeper in the mountains. Okay. But it's not like I want a place down here, but it's not like this is the only place I'd really want to live. You know what I'm saying? I would be totally willing to go to Fort Smith under the different situations, different places, you know, and maybe even some states or some countries I don't know about, to be honest. So my options are open. And 2 out of 3 isn't bad. Okay. So now going back to A-Rod, which I should answer first because you sent a donation. I'm sorry. I forget things like this. The further west you go, absolutely, there was a cutoff line in the middle of the United States before. When the new prison started opening in 2004 and 5, Coleman before that, things started to change, okay? So from Leavenworth, Lompoc to that way, it was more rough. And not going to say that 97 and 98 at Lewisburg didn't have its moments and the murders and all that stuff. It did. But when I went from Leavenworth to Lewisburg, I couldn't believe it. And then the cultural difference where a guy out of Maine, a skinny white kid, was the best rapper on the compound. We had a conversation of where we were going to beat this dude up for rapping because he was white. But then the East Coast whites kind of kick it with black dudes, and they they sell togethers and stuff, and I guess in New York, different stuff. So it was totally different. But yes, it was west. You had more of that mentality. And like I said before, the Aryan Brotherhood coming from California into the feds in the 70s and the 80s did influence the mentality, which are the white prison gangs today. It's true. It really is. Okay, let me say this. Okay, definitely stay away from the sex when you're in prison. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And let me tell you, and I say this over and over and over again, you don't just go in there and do it. You're thinking about that before. Yes, there's pressure punks and all that stuff that's happened. Thanks, Doug. But in general, guys that are going in there and doing that, they thought about it before. You don't just wake up one morning and say, I fucking want to do a dude, or I want to fucking put a prick in my mouth or some crazy shit. You don't just do that. It just doesn't happen because I'm in prison and you can, this, you know, what's normal out there is a normal in here. I've heard all that crap in Arkansas. They used to justify like that for it over and over and over again. You know how bad it sucked kicking with somebody? I wasn't a social butterfly in Arkansas. Very few people, okay? But it sucked walking with the guy that I liked, and he's like, hey, you know what I did last night, dude? I had dude suck my blood. I'm like, what? What? You got a year to do, dude. What are you doing? And you got a wife. What the fuck? You know, it just wasn't good. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, but gay for this day. For their uncles or aunts, right? Anyway. All right. I'm going to go. I'm coming on tomorrow night, unless something stupid happens. I mean, stupid meaning thing down or I go somewhere. We'll see. We'll see. But thanks for joining me. You guys, thanks for the donations. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.